NSA. This is Rich Hart. Welcome to GMS. I have a very special guest with me today. Is Jim Madrid. All right, Jim, you just wrote this book about meatballs and mindset.
It's a good title.
And Jim, you and I, we've had conversation prior to selfhood. What brought you to write this book? So tell us about what's going on.
It started off with I work with a lot of sports teams, and I've written programs for the mental preparation for the game, right?
Right.
So and I believe like anything in life, it's all about mindset. So that
Right.
was going to be the name of the book. It's
Sure.
all about mindset. April 1st, 2022, no joke. I was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer.
Ouch.
The count in my pancreas, the CA19-9, whatever they call it.
Right. Yeah.
Anything over 37, you've got cancer.
Right.
Mine was 40,000 plus.
Ouch.
It was in my sacrum.
Is that stage 4 plus and
Stage
some?
4, yeah. It was like
and some more.
It was like HBO plus. Yeah,
exactly.
it was stage 4 plus. So,
supersize that for me, would you?
Yeah,
Right?
please, could I get anything worse? And then, so I started to take that all about mindset, and kind of as I was journaling through what my mindset was when I was first diagnosed, then it just kind of turned into, the mindset that I had. And mindset I had immediately was, first off, I was pissed.
Sure. That's a first reaction for us.
That denial, that anger and denial.
Sure, right.
Thing.
So why me, right?
Exactly. And then it went from there to, my father passed away in 2008.
Okay.
His younger brother died of pancreatic cancer also in 2006. And then it just went, wow, there's been a lot of advancement in cancer research.
Sure, right, exactly.
So then it went, I have a choice. And I think that's why I wrote the book. Is there's a choice in life, and everything that we face, any challenge, it's all about mindset. And mine was take it as a death sentence or an opportunity to triumph. And, and stage 4 pancreatic cancer is a 5% survival rate. That's what I focused on, was the 5, not the 95
death
rate.
Yeah, sure, exactly.
The 5%. And then I went into...
That's mindset for you right there.
There it is, right. And then I had great support. Then it went to... I went into working with what I do with athletes, and especially in mindfulness and positive self-talk. I'm a big believer in how the mind controls, our performance and so on. So then I went into all that, and about a month and a half, 2 months later, they came back and scheduled me for 7 weeks straight of chemotherapy.
Ouch.
And hey, I was like, Rich, let's bring it on. Let's go. Let's get rid of this.
That's that 5% we're still talking about.
That's exactly. Right. And so... about an hour later, my doctor called me up and said, good news. I've got some news. And I said, what's that? And he said, first off, you don't need chemotherapy. My wife and I about, what? And so he goes, the other news is it's now non-small cell lung cancer.
Wow. All right.
So yeah, stage 4 of that.
That shouldn't be traveling, right?
Yeah. It's, but again, mindset. Okay. So I've had radiation and some medication. In fact, in September 2023, I was cancer-free.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But at the same time, they've got me on medication that it's only supposed to last a year and a half. I'm going on 4 years now. And
it stopped everything now, right?
It did, but there's some, just this last week, this, funny, that I had new MRIs and CT scans, and it came back. So they're looking at different protocols. They're just saying, Jim, you should have been off this medication a year and a half ago, So they're looking at, different protocols. And, I could go back on chemo. I could be going to having more radiation.
Right, exactly.
And they're thinking I'm going to take another oral drug and some radiation.
Right. So you're the crash cart specialist.
Yeah.
All right.
What else you got?
Well, here's the thing. What you were saying here, and especially at the Strive conference and NSA and everything else like this, it's mindset. All right. And I believe motivation and the amount of motivation that one puts in is the ability to change mindset. All right. And that's 100% through and through. And I think individuals themselves, they really need to know and understand itself. It's not the 95% that you focus on as the negative out there. All right. It's the 5% that you need to do and what you need to focus on. All right. To really start to implement that change.
And that's it.
All right.
Implement the change,
Yeah.
not just give yourself lip
Right.
service that you're going to beat it, but
Exactly.
you got to do the things. And yeah, did my diet change? Yes, my diet did
Sure.
change.
Exactly.
Not a lot.
Yeah.
But at first they wouldn't let me drink wine. Now you're telling an Italian not to drink wine. That was the hardest thing, the whole dang thing.
There are hard things out there, without a doubt.
Come on now. So, but you're right. Motivation's like a sugar rush.
That's right.
And if you gotta have that self-discipline, and that's what I do when I work with athletes and other, high performance people.
Right.
It's that self-discipline. You go through that. And yeah. Okay. Now, how do I maintain that momentum
Right.
once I got that goal and that vision? So, that's how the book came about, though,
Right.
Rich. It was, I got asked a lot to write about it. But what happened in the first year was, as I start to get better, what happened was there was a lot of people who would come, and it was really interesting.
Yeah.
Is a lot of people come with that 95%.
They do.
I'm a dead man walking.
Come on, people. That's the normal path to take. That's the normal elevator.
Right.
All right?
And say, oh, like I've had people come to, hey, I need you to talk to my friend, my relative, my spouse, whoever. They've been diagnosed with terminal cancer. I go, why would you give it terminal?
Right. Exactly.
And I've seen hospitals, and I asked my oncologist, in fact, last week I asked her again, who asked you, either the patient or the family, how much time do they have?
That's right.
And they always say the family.
Family.
does.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
How much time do they have?
Jim, here's the thing for you too as well. Folks themselves need to hear what you have to say as that cancer survivor. All right. Inspirational, okay, is based upon experience.
Mm-hmm.
There are individuals themselves in our network, in our world, all right, from presentation and speaking and passing information that's extremely important to others, so they can take that motivation spec. You're an inspiration to a lot of individuals.
Thank you.
This book was probably written with mindset involved, without 100%. But
Absolutely.
do you know how many people you can inspire with your story?
Yeah,
Because you've been there. You're the experience. You're the crash test.
And I think, my faith tells me that, is that if, it's kind of like all the things I've gone through, and they've just told me about 6 months ago in my last, one of my results
Right.
and visits with my doctor, there was 3 other oncologists in there. And they asked me all about mindset. They didn't ask me my diet, well, a little bit, but then they really said, well, what was your attitude towards all
Right,
this?
exactly. Yeah.
And so they really quizzed me on that. In an hour and a half, that's usually a 15-minute,
Doctors want to know
the
what you
doctor
did
always says,
differently.
Madrid, she goes, you're good. What do you want to talk about?
Right, exactly.
And so Dr. Massarelli, she's been awesome. I got a nice Italian
You
doctor.
have to, right,
of course.
exactly.
So we talked more about wine.
You probably
and-
looked at resumes for that one.
it's just by chance. But they, at the end of it, they said, Jim, we got to tell you, you're a less than 1% survivor. And Rich, if that's anything I can do, because I know what the mental process that people go through. And for me, there was a friend of ours who was dealing with colorectal cancer for 2 years prior.
Sure.
And she came to me, and it was just so good to be able to talk. And what I had the opportunity for her to talk to me and kind of soothe my mind.
Right.
That's why I wrote the book. Now, meatballs and mindset.
Okay?
Okay.
Right.
So, I was going through all this, and they told me I couldn't eat red sauce. Come on, no wine, no red sauce.
No.
Are you kidding me? So
chew on a red blanket.
Just eat some regular pasta. No, I can't do that with butter and your cheese. But so friend of mine owns a restaurant, and I talk about that, a nice Italian restaurant where I live in Laguna Niguel. And we were talking about our Italian culture, how we brought up. Now, I'm half Spanish, Madrid, and half Italian, and pretty much grew up with my mother's family.
So that's a lot of fancy foods in.
Oh, don't piss me off, whatever you do, okay? So we talked about culture, and this was about a year ago. And then, one of those things, and you've done it too, we all have, wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning, go, that's it.
That's it, right.
So I started to put that Italian, in the kitchen, and then the nonas came out, and that's how I grew up. Sunday afternoons, the whole
It's a
family are there,
feast.
everybody yelling, screaming at each other, and then we're having fun and so on. And you know, watching my mother and my older sister, she too was a big influence on my
Right.
cooking.
Exactly.
And then I thought, well, I'm going to start putting that together. And then I kept thinking, what's the title? It's all about
Sure, right.
mindset, you know. Then, honest to God, I'm making meatballs, and I went, that's it.
It can't be any better than that,
No.
Jim.
And
Can't be any better.
my daughter goes, so what's for dinner? I go, well, I'm having meatballs. And she goes, what? And a side of mindset? I go, there you go.
There you go.
There you
Can't
go.
beat that. Jim, I think there's a lot of individuals themselves in the upcoming years and months themselves that want to really understand, alrighty, and how you develop that mindset change, alrighty. Meatballs to mindset, extremely important, alrighty. How do individuals themselves get out and how they reach you? What's the best way to reach you?
Real easy. Go to meatballsandmindset.com. Come on, Rich.
Super.
Are you kidding me?
You know, I figured, but I want to hear it for you.
Well,
Without a doubt,
there's also
100%.
jimmadrid.com. My sports program is on astacademy.com.
Right.
And that's all the way from youth sports to the pros that I
Good.
work with.
Love it.
And then, but jimmadrid.com is kind of my corporate one where I've worked with Nordstrom, Oakley,
Good.
Lexus, and
Right.
so on.
Superb.
And then for this specifically, I knew I had to because I was going to put recipes in it, but it kind of brought up, I know, because everybody asked me.
Recipes, cancer, recipe, cancer.
Well,
all right,
everybody
yes,
asked
exactly.
me, you know,
Exactly.
recipes for a positive life.
Right.
So
Love it.
I put a QR code in here, so it takes you to our website,
Love it.
Meatballs and Mindset, and there's recipes and more reflection,
Good.
things like that, and they can get a hold of me there.
Good. Jim, I want to thank you very much
Rich,
for coming
my pleasure.
up. All right,
Thank
pleasure's
you.
mine. Thank you
Appreciate
for
it.
coming to the Global Media Studios
My first time.
Thrive show.
Yeah,
already.
my first time.
And on top of that, especially our theater out here. So,
Right.
folks, Meatballs and Mindset, make sure you get a copy of it. Jim, thank you very much.
Thanks, Rich.
Have a great day.